you listen to this guy, you're like, whoa, this is a crazy inspiration to see how somebody can go from almost like how I see myself, just like this. I'm just a guy like screaming in my studio. Nobody cares for a long time. And then out of nowhere, now it's like super massive. How's it going, guys? My name is Will. I'm the vocalist of Lorna Shore, and these are my top 3. Starting with my top number 1, I'm just gonna say it right off the bat. In Flames, fantastic band, one of my favorites. Period. And I always start with In Flames just because, like, they've been with me since the very, very beginning, and they've it's just been like a vibe, and I try and carry, like, honestly, like lyrically the same vibe that they had going on with all of their music. But one album in particular that really stood out to me was A Sense of Purpose, because everything from just like guitar to vocal to synth, like everything was there, and it really brought out not just like a super heavy vibe, but a super atmospheric vibe. Right now, my next favorite album, not gonna lie, it's Where Owls Know My Name by Rivers of Nile, for a very similar reason, because it's really good. I mean, if you ever listen to it from start to finish, it changes. It's not just like what you imagine a typical death metal album to be. You know, it is heavy in its parts, but it's not heavy like breakdown heavy. It puts you in this like state of mind where it's just like, I almost feel like, not to get all, wishy-washy or whatever, but like it feels like I'm floating or something like that. Like, it's like, this is a super atmospheric, heavy death metal vibe. Like, I love that. The last one is Cradle of Filth, another one of those icons from like a billion years ago. Like, I remember jamming Midian, like back in the day. You're in high school, you picture yourself, you're on YouTube, you're just searching for every band that exists in the genre, and you're finding all of these bands. And that was one of the first ones that came up to me. And it was just like super evil sounding. And like his vocal technique was just super, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but I still don't know anybody that hits the same type of vocal technique that he hits. And like, honestly, they're huge icons to me, and I think that that's why these 3 bands, in my opinion, are going to be bands that stick it out. You know what I mean? Like, they all have something that makes them just a little bit different than everybody else. And honestly, those are my top 3. Like, easy.
Be water, my friend. Like that.
No, I see.
All right, let's see. We're gonna start with the top, obvious ones for people. Anybody that has listened to my vocals in the past, they're gonna know Dickie Allen, number 1, my dude. Infant Annihilator, fantastic band. Dickie Allen's like, I don't know what. It's not even just the way that he does his screams, but just the way that he writes his patterns. The way that it flows with his music it's super unique. And like, even if you were to hypothetically figure out how to do his technique, it's so much more than that, because it's the way that it's really, he does it, that makes it different. Ben Dewar, obviously, like, I mean, I've just known him since he was in a band called In Depths and Tides, because Lorna Shore, or not, it was Lorna, my old band, and In Depths and Tides, we were all on the road together. So I remember meeting him when he was still kind of small fry-ish, and now he's like massive fry. So like, you listen to this guy, you're like, whoa, this is a crazy inspiration to see how somebody can go from, like almost like how I see myself, just like this. I'm just a guy like screaming in my studio. Nobody cares for a long time. And then out of nowhere, now it's like super massive. And that's how when I first saw Ben, that's exactly how I saw it with him. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is so inspirational to see how somebody can go from one to the other, just like that. Like, not only is it just like technique wise, but just like the story behind it, which is what really, I think it's the biggest take back from it. And of course, I'm going to say Anders Frieden. For those of you guys who don't know, he is the vocalist of In Flames. And, he does some really cool stuff. If you ever listen to the older stuff, he does like some super heavy screams. It's a different vocalist, but like even in the songs where he was trying to be heavier, like he hits those notes where he's heavy. But then he sings as well, but he doesn't just do like a normal singing voice. He adds like his own flair to it. And again, it's one of those things where it's like when you start adding your own flair to music, it changes it from just it being what it is into now it's your own. And like for these three people, I really feel like they took their music that they already had and brought it to the next level. That's why they're amazing in my mind. They're some of the best, most inspirational vocalists I know, you know. Number one, Colorado. Love Colorado. If you ever go to Colorado, you know there are a lot of mountains. I am a mountain freak. I love mountains. I love camping. I love doing outdoor things. Colorado is the number one freaking place for that, in my opinion. And you can smoke weed all the time. So I can't complain whatsoever. It's the best of both worlds, baby. Number two, Mendocino, California. It is a beach town in California, literally in the middle of nowhere. And it's just like this little beach town. Like it is like maybe 400, 500 people in this town. It's so quiet. They have, again, obviously a beach, you know, there's not a lot of people there. And they have a really cool weed dispensary that I really liked when I was there. But, you know, it all goes back to that somehow. But specifically, I was like, this place is really cool. Like, it's such a small area, and it just feels super homey. Like, if there's anywhere I could be in the world, I will live there. I don't know what I got to do, but I'm going to try and get out there. And the last place is Astoria, Oregon. Why? If you've ever seen the movie The Goonies, which if you know me, you know I have seen this movie too many times. It is my favorite movie in the entire world. Once upon a time, I went to Oregon and somebody was like, man, if you like The Goonies, you need to go to Astoria. That's where literally the beach, another beach town, obviously. It's where the beach is, where they're literally all these kids are standing on the beach looking out and they're seeing One-Eyed Willie's freaking ship shooting off into the distance. And I'm like, whoa, I need to go over there. And as soon as I went, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I feel like I could see One-Eyed Willie's treasure chest, like ship out there. You know, I love it. If there's anywhere I could be, just take me outside. And those are the three places that I would go outside. So I'm going to say one of the best concerts that I've ever been to was the Browning. I don't really listen to their music too much, but there was something about the light show that they had, dude. It was like, when I first saw it, I was like, this is amazing. Like, I don't even know, even if I didn't know, at the time I didn't know the music, but like being at a show where like, it's when you don't know the music, it makes it a little bit sometimes harder for people to get into it. Obviously, when you know all the lyrics, you're there, you're just like, oh, I know the words. I didn't, you know? And I just remember seeing that light show and I was like, whoa, this is like absolutely incredible. I remember, I'm going to say Motionless in White, just because I remember being my first show that I ever went to was a Motionless in White show. And it was at this place called Starland Ballroom. I remember showing up 4 hours early before doors. I don't know why. I was just like, somebody told me like, this is what you're supposed to do. You know, I got inside eventually and it was so sick. And it was one of those things where like, it may not have even been like an amazing show, but for me, because it was my first show, it was inspiring. You know what I mean? Like, I think that might be part of the reason that I even decided to ever become a vocalist, like in the first place, just like seeing how heavy these bands are and how everybody was getting down to it. You know what I mean? I was like, this is my first experience in this world. And it was an incredible one, honestly. Never saw Motionless in White again after that though. So that's, you know, maybe one day I will, but you know, I haven't yet, you know, but one day I'm coming back to see you, Chris. I swear to God. Last show. I mean, I'm just going to say it. I stand In Flames all day. I stand them. I love them. They're so good. I saw them live. I had to. It was one of those things where I was like, my inner high school kid needs this, you know? And it was, so I remember I went to see In Flames and they played at some giant stage and I don't even remember where it was. It may have been in Pennsylvania, but it was it was massive, and it was so inspirational again, because it was like, I love this band, and now I'm seeing them and they're playing on this massive stage and they deserve everything that they get. But now I'm that guy where, just like how I went to the Browning and I saw the people that knew all the words and I didn't know the words, now I knew all the words. So I'm there singing everything, trying to record on my phone, and you're listening, you're obviously, because I'm singing and you can, the phone is up, all you hear is me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even hear what them singing anymore. But it was just, I got so into it, and it was like, oh my God, I know this song. Oh my God, I know this song. This is a throwback. So those are my top 3, easy. Top 3 favorite shows. My top 3 video games are, starting with the one that I played the most growing up, and I sometimes dabble in it to the point where, like, I can't for some reason stop playing this freaking game, even though I hate it. I just keep playing it. World of Warcraft, number 1, baby. And everybody that's listening to this, you're gonna know. You know why? It's like, it's one of those things where you play it and you're like, all right, I'm done. This game sucks, But then they make that expansion, and you're like, whoo! They got an expansion. I'm coming back. You know what I mean? And then the expansion sucks. And then you're like, like, I'm not playing this game anymore. And then they make another expansion, and now you're back again. And it's like one of those things where, like, you hate it so much, but I know as soon as they make that next expansion, I'm going to buy it. I just finished playing a game called Bloodborne, which is incredibly difficult game. I think I've come to the conclusion that I love these really difficult games, though. Like, now I'm playing a game called Sekiro, another incredibly difficult game, but that's not my favorite, because I get so mad at that game that I literally cannot play. Like, I threw my controller the other day, but it's one of those kinds of games. So Bloodborne is one of those, like, you grab that shit and you just fucking chuck it, and you're like, ah! And last but not least, I'm going to say it, Black Ops Zombies. Everybody plays Call of Duty to survive. But apparently, people don't know is that you can actually beat the map. There are Easter eggs that you could do to actually like steps and little things, and then the map. And then you beat the map. It's not just a survival map kind of thing. And a lot of people don't know that, but me and my good friends do. So we would literally spend countless hours playing like 3-hour games, going through all the steps of the Easter egg just to get to the last boss, and then die, and then have to start all over again. Another 3-hour game. You know what I mean? It's just like debilitating. Honestly, I'm here like, oh my God, I can't believe I just spent like 3 hours of my life playing, but I'll play again. I'm Puerto Rican. Top 3 facts right here. Number 1, I am Puerto Rican. A lot of people, I love the fact that, I feel like it's such a Puerto Rican thing to just tell the whole world that you're Puerto Rican. But I'm happy to be Puerto Rican. Like, our culture is not as large as a lot of cultures. We live on this little tiny ass island, and where a lot of us are Americanized. And I happen to be one of those people that's super Americanized, but I still love my roots. I love my family. And I think, being Hispanic and being in the metal scene is, I've noticed a lot of people, I guess, haven't really seen that. And I've had a lot of Hispanic people come up to me like, dude, I love that you're Hispanic and you're doing this, because it's such a boost to the Hispanic community. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I'm like, let's go. I already love just telling people that I'm Puerto Rican, but like the fact that it helps other people too is just like fantastic. So number 2, fun fact, here we go. I can't grow a beard. What's up? Like, at all. I have been trying to grow a beard, but as you see, everyone always thinks I'm like, dude, are you 20? Are you 17? Are you 19? I don't know how old you are. I'm like, dude, I am 27 years old. I am 27. I just look like this because I can't grow any facial hair, which is fine, but that's a good thing. As far as I'm concerned, maybe when I'm like 35, I'll look like I'm 30. Final fun fact, I love cats. I have 2 cats. I don't know if you heard them, but they've literally been running around the room since this thing started, just like meowing and like, dude, what's going on in here? I'm like, dude, just stop. So I love cats. I have 2 of them. Like I said, they're here. And the best thing that ever happened to me. So 3 fun facts, baby. There you go.